Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Anti-Poster. I'm recording this on the afternoon of Friday, the 3rd of October, just before Art Weekend. You may notice a rather strange backdrop. I'm actually on a ferry trying to get to the French mainland from Corsica, and I've got half an hour until the boat sails, and I lose Wi-Fi. So I'm going to rattle through the five big group races on day one of Art Weekend. So let's kick off a few various things coming over the tannoy. That is as per previous of what's going on this ferry. 4:35. No, that's the last one. Start from the beginning. Let's start with the Prix Chaudenay. 1 mile 7 furlongs. This was a race I was quite excited about playing. And in the time I've been doing my notes for this and working through it this afternoon, the price of tennis stud has almost halved, which I completely understand. He's quite a long way clear of these on what he's achieved, on the form. And with a little bit of dig in the ground, which is likely to get after the rain tonight and tomorrow morning, he must have a massive chance. The unknown for him is going up to 1 mile 7 furlongs for the first time, because he hasn't raced beyond 12 furlongs. But that was all in the price. Unfortunately, now it's not. So I wouldn't actually recommend him at 13-8 with that risk, but he's so much the likeliest winner. Espoir Aventure was a blowout winner over a long trip last time out, but 35-1, it seemed to come from nowhere. Is this sudden improvement? She beat Emit, we'll talk about it in a minute, by 5 lengths on soft ground. Before that, she'd been well beaten in things like listed races. Oh, here we go, tannoy. Anyhow, I think that she comes with a little bit of could that be real, that performance? It just seemed to be out of keeping with her profile. Possible upsetter, but again, not a bet. Surabad, he's really plateaued this one as a sort of listed Group 3 type. This is slightly higher class. Our best race he's run in, he was last of 6 in the Grand Prix de Paris behind Leffart, 4th last time out in the Prix Cadran. Maybe he can take a strip forward, but son of baited going up to 15 furlongs. I don't quite see it. He doesn't excite, and he's got stamina doubts. Emit, you get 3 places by the way on this with bet 365 for 7-horse field. Emit was quite interesting, and it looked like she was well beaten by Sport Aventure last time, but going the right way before that. I could easily see her being placed here, whether or not with that 5-length deficit to Espoir Aventure, who's only the second favourite in this race, you want to play it. That's another question. Zingaro, 20 lengths behind Espoir Aventure, doesn't really appeal. She's been second in a listed race at this trip and probably will stay, but again, doesn't excite. Don't know what a native Irish is doing in the field, though there is money for her. So perhaps there's something I don't know about this one, with improvement for Amy Murphy. Last of 4 July conditions race. And NA, a complete outsider. So 2 lengths just behind Darius on debut, which looks really good. Or maybe his debut was a second run, but it hasn't really happened since, so I can't quite see it. Anyway, Prix Chaudenay, Tennessee stud probably just wins, but I wouldn't recommend it there, really, at 13-8. It's not my thing, as those of you who know me know. If that was a long distance race, this is even longer. The next group race in the card, the Prix Cadran, 2 mile 4, an absolute marathon. This one, a mirror of the Ascot Gold Cup and Trip, but obviously often done in much more testing ground. You know you've got a bad Group 1 when the 8-year-old Coltrane is heading the market, in my view. And don't get me wrong, likeable horse, been a great servant to connections, hasn't been the same in the last kind of 18 months. 2 of his last 3 runs have been poor. He won a decent listed or G3, was it a Sandown or somewhere like that. He can still put in a good run, but the great runs of his past look a thing of the past. He was third to Kyprios in this only a year ago. That was one of his good runs. I wouldn't take a short price about Coltrane at his advanced years. By contrast, I would take a short-ish price about Cabana de Mer for George Scott. On the ratings is very little to find with the horse ahead of him and behind him in the betting, Coltrane in some way. But this one is progressive, and he was progressing until he had a mid-season break, and he's progressed again, went over to Germany, won the German Ledger, which obviously is not the same as the English or the Irish Ledger in terms of quality, but it was the best thing he's done on the figures so far, and no reason why he couldn't step forward again. I really could see Caballot de Mer winning this. I'd much rather play him at fours than Coltrane at 11 to 4. Some way must be up there in the league tables for the most disappointing horse in training. Group 1 winner as a 2-year-old. Remember that a long time ago from Alcator, I think, in a French race at the back end of 2 years ago. Hasn't won since and done a lot of running very well, but he's yet to get his head in front. And when I say running very well, narrowly off by Los Angeles in the Irish Derby last year, close third behind Jan Bruegel in the Ledger. This is terrific form, but it hasn't really worked for him since last off like a scalded cat and faded badly, excuse the tannoy again, over a staying trip. Just maybe he can do it now if they don't do stupid things and make him set his own pace again. It's in a complete unknown up to 2.5 miles, but he is top rated on what he's done on the speed figures. He's top rated on what he's done on form. So I get somewhere. I get Caballot, I get somewhere. I don't get Coltrane at the prices. Queenstown Road, I've run 2 excellent runs in last 3. Massive weight in the Ebor, third. Top weight in the Irish, Cesarovic third, and now didn't stay the longest trip he's ever tried, the 2 miles 2 furlongs Cesarovic last year, but I was better, stronger horse now. As long as too much rain doesn't fall, Queenstown Road I think can run very well. Good chance of placing. Vaguely appealing each way. Sacred Spirit, I simply don't get at all. There's a little bit of love for this, I notice on social media, but as 2 races, conditions races, flopped his only try over sort of 15 furlongs. I completely failed to get the appeal of this one. Let's see, decent-ish French stayer, but even this is a leap-in trip, and on form, it's got an enormous amount to find with big players, so no. Alcacid, bit more interesting, but in his sort of along his rear view mirror, he's got a couple of really good performances, a good staying performance last year at 2 miles, winning a Group 3 at York, and close fourth in a race with no pace, Rebels Romance, in a staying race at York over, I was going to say 18 for 1 mile 6, 14 furlongs. Trouble is he's been well beaten over a couple of miles in his last 2 races, so he'd have to bounce back, but it wouldn't be impossible. Tashkent, complete outsider, probably gone at the game. Has been running dreadfully, but he too has got a third to Kyprios in the rearview mirror. Maybe if the rain falls, because I think he does need rain. If more rain falls than they think, and it's proper testing, I just possibly could turn back the clock and run a good one. But yeah, I struggle to see him as a bet. So yeah, Queenstown Road, I thought each way, and I'm still mulling in my mind whether I'm going to go Sunway or Caballot. I'll probably bet one of those two to win. I will avoid Coltrane at the price. Watch him trot up. Third group race on the card, the Prix Wildenstein over a mile. Group 2. This is quite a good field. A very good field. It's quite deep for Group 2. And I'm struggling to find an angle here because the top 7 in the betting are covered by very little in the ratings, and you can make at least a tiny case for each of them. And when you've got a situation like that, you're just reluctant to wade in too deeply. From the top, Couloir. This horse's form with cut, any kind of real dig in the ground, is 1-1-1-1, 5-1-1. She did blow out at Ascot in, I think, the QE2 last year. Not quite sure why. Otherwise, Tannoy, whenever this one gets cut, or at least no firm in the going, he's really, really good. But last time in the Moulin, when he was quite fancied by a number of people, that was still described a racing post as good to soft. It was not. It was good to firm ground. It was really fast ground. It's been re-rated by Timeform. So I think with the rain due today and the rain tomorrow morning, could well get his conditions and will surely run well. Does that mean I'm a bet? 3-1 best. So there's no each way angle there. I don't know, because there are other good ones here. Alcantor 9-2 was fourth in the Moulin, well ahead of Coudois, but I'll give Coudois, as I said earlier, a ground pass for that. Alcantor had every reason to fall into a hole. He led and went for home a long way out. And almost held on. I think 2 furlongs out. I think a lot of people looking at their race and thinking, blimey, Alcantor's stolen this one. But anyway, he came fourth, but not beaten far. He just faded in those last 50, 70 yards. I didn't want him that day at all, so I was rather relieved when he wasn't anywhere in the places, because I thought he was ground dependent. I thought this one big, but the Moulin was riding fast, and it won't be that fast tomorrow after rain today and tomorrow's. Alcantor is 9-2 with bet 365, and I have had an each way bet, even though it's not even getting your money back quite if he's second or third, because I really can't see him out of the 3. I mean, I just can't. I think he's got a good chance of winning, this son of New Bay. That said, other risks. Dream Timer is the sort of dangerous, unexposed, up-and-coming one. Only won a Group 3 last time, but beat Cicero's Gift, who went on to come back into the UK and win another group race, possibly a Group 2. Memory fails me. So that looked like good form. What's more, his only visit to Longchamp, he was a facile winner, so no course fears. Dreamliner, dangerous. Then you're into the slightly flaky ones I don't like in the middle of the market. Ridari, I've chased this guy all year. He ran really good, eye-catchingly good French 2000 Guineas, ready to be snatched up. Otherwise, he could be third. But he was poor in the Marois last time, and they tried him up in Trip. There's talent there, and maybe he'll come and spite me tomorrow by putting it all together, but he won't be carrying any of my money. Skakuza, likable horse, big improver this year as a 4-year-old. Won a good listed race. I think a listed race in Ireland. Not been far in a G2 and a G3. Leopardstown, New York, last 2. But just needs more. The top 3 in the market are better than this guy, just quite clearly. And it's not like he's lightly raced, so I couldn't get to Skakuza. Zabiara, transferred to Grafa this year, 1-1-1, first 3 starts. What's not to like? Oh, this is an up-and-coming miler. But actually, he's just been pretty badly beaten. They are taken up to the top level last 2 or 3 runs. Mediocre in the Jacques Le Marois, really poor at Baden-Baden. Maybe he's got more to give, but I couldn't get there. Kirat, I think it's quite a big price. I know that Sussex Stakes win at Goodwood looks sort of a farcical affair for a number of reasons. 100-to-1 pacemaker steals it, but he backed that up in another Group 1 City of York Stakes. Was a really good deep race. He was not beaten far in that in 5th. Not quite sure where the pace is going to come from. Mahaba Yasanafi, the outsider, might go forward, but he doesn't get too hard a time ridden prominently. On the ratings, he's now on a par with these. So I was just slightly surprised to see him at 12-to-1, 6th of 8. I think the last run showed that Goodwood was not a complete fluke. He wasn't just a handicapper who got lucky as a pacemaker with the wrong conditions. He's up to running reasonably in Group 1, and this is a Group 2, so not uninteresting. Princess Child, Jason O'Brien improver, definitely not good enough on anything she's done so far, but this is a filly on the up, and a filly in form and improving is always a dangerous thing. So I get that as well, 14-to-1. And even the outsider, Mahaba Yasanafi, this guy, by the way, is a French 2000 Guineas winner. Seems a long time ago, and he's sort of gone off since then. But he was good at the beginning of this season, really good. He was beaten ahead by Alcantor, very closely matched with Zabiari. It's just in his last 2 races, it's all come apart. If he rediscovers anything in his back class, I thought 25-to-1 would be crazy, but he probably won't. I might, if they keep on pushing him out, I might have a couple of pennies each way on it. Otherwise, wouldn't put anyone off. Kudwa for the win, surely must run well. We put her up in the anti-poster at 40 to 1 for the QE2. So in a sense, I hope he runs well and sets himself up for that. But Alcantor to me each way, and Dreamton are dangerous at 11 to 2. Skipping the middle three in the market, Ridari, Skakuza, Zabiari, Kirat, Princess Child, Mahaba, Snafi, each of the outsiders. You can make a tiny case for snatching a piece of this. 2 more races to go. We're now into the Group 1, the second Group 1 of the day. I cannot believe this race is a Group 1. I think it was only made a Group 1 last year, the Prix Royallieu. But if you look through the first 5 in the betting last year, you just go, who? Absolutely amazing. I was rather grateful for Adrian O'Brien at a big price. And I can't even remember the fillies behind were, but put it this way, not big names. And so how it's got Grade 1 status, I've absolutely no idea. And the irony here is it has attracted 2 fillies who can really belong in Group 1 races, but they're the ones in a way with most to prove because they've never run this trip before. And I'm talking about Bedtime Story and Survey. When I saw Bedtime Story declared for various races this weekend, I was saying, please go to the Opera. Please go to the Opera. I think this filly is top class over 10 furlongs. Things haven't gone her way the last 2-3 runs. I think there's really good reasons for that. In the Vermeil, which is over 12 furlongs, was incredibly slowly run. And she sprinted home. Her last 3 furlongs were faster than any other of the horses on the card in those races, the Prix Foy, the Prix Niel. A Bedtime Story who ran the fastest last 3 furlongs. She's got a wicked turn of foot. I don't know what they're doing on probably softer ground, trying to make her a staying filly. I get her a Group 1 after a season in which she's knocked on the door, second in the Prix Daniel French Oaks, of course, but 6-2, 4-5-3 figures. Maybe they just think, oh, well, let's pick up this easy Group 1. But is she really a stayer? She's had a sprinter. And as I say, that Vermeil, where she appeared to stay into third, she wasn't staying into third. She was sprinting from the back where she was badly positioned in a slowly run race. I don't like her. Or certainly the most appalling each way bet, an absolutely catastrophic each way bet. There is a clear chance she'll win this on class. 9-2, probably fair enough. I won't play her, probably because I'm smarting about her not running in the Opera rather than she doesn't have any chance. But I'm just doubtful about this step up and trip, seeing the best of her. The other one is Survey, who's Group 1 class, 7-1. And, she's got decent form behind, Whirl, Aventure, Quisisana. That's all this season. She's classy, this one, particularly below Group 1 level, although this is a Group 1. Trust me, this is below Group 1 level. My problem with her is that, again, 14 furlongs, question mark. And I personally think she's better over 10 than 12. She certainly got closer to this season to Aventure over 10 than she did over 12. So probably avoid those 2. I look for the up-and-comers. I'm not sure about the 4-1 favourite. Graffar filly, Latakia 4-1. She's progressive. She's only had 4 runs. Easy Group 2 winner Deauville last time out. But I don't think it was much of a race, and this is far tougher. I just think on the figures, on the form figures, on anything she's done on the clock, she's got a lot to find. And so, even though the unexposed angle I get, I wouldn't make a 4-1 favourite, and I'm against. So yeah, I'm against Latakia. Survey and Bedtime Story reluctantly because they're classy. I'll probably pass. Brings us down to Santorini Star 6-1. This is a really good staying filly for Willie Haggis, who I think has won this a couple of times in the last 5 years. Knows what it takes to win it. Very closely matched with Consent, who's a slightly bigger price here and is slightly less exposed. I find it difficult to choose between the 2, really. I like their chances. You can get 4 places, I think, in this, can't you, with Bet365 and Ladbrokes, I believe. So I thought Santorini Star and Content both had really good chances of being placed in this, despite being pitched into Group 1 company. More so than Indalimos for Fabre, Daughter of Cloth of Stars. Good winner over a mile and a half, Group 3 at Deauville last time. Consent beaten there, but Consent was blocked in her run. And Consent has since, proven herself over longer trips. So with 40 furlongs being an unknown for Indalimos, sort of reluctantly passed, that she's got a chance. That brings us to the 7th in the betting, Shaha. My immediate thing was to dismiss this one, and I just looked a bit more. I thought, well, hang on, Daughter of Cracksman, very lightly raced, and she's dismissed in the market because she was thrashed by Strange last time out. Now, two things there. Strange was about to take place in the Arc de Triomphe, and had it not been for a dreadful draw, and of course Scoping Badly being withdrawn, or Scoping Badly allegedly, Strange would have been a threat with Dig in the Ground in the Arc. I think she would have got a lot closer to Minnie Hawk than she did in the Yorkshire Oaks. So basically, I think Strange is absolutely top draw. And maybe to be beaten 3 or 4 lengths by a Stranger is not quite as bad as it looks. And not least, and this is what interested me most about this one, it's only run 5 times. All 3 times she's fresh, she's run a blinder. Second to Diamond Rain, very classy Godolphin filly on debut. Thrashed Santorini Star, next time she was out fresh. And either, I can't read my notes now, either one or very close second to Scenic, who we know was neck and neck with the Strange in that Lancashire Oaks. So this Daughter of Cracksman, no problem with a bit of dig if the rain comes. The rain is going to come. So while she's got a bit to find, I don't think she's got much to find, and I think she's completely overpriced. You can get 11 to 1. I think you're going to get 9 to 1 with Bet365. I think maybe they're the only 4 place players, but she interested me. Then you're into the outsiders. Bibiena was the only other one that interested me. She was well beaten by Latakia, the favourite last time, but she'd won over a staying trip the time before, so she didn't quite have the pace to keep up with Latakia last time. Wouldn't be surprised if you got to get closer now, and you're talking 25 to 1 versus 4 to 1, and I know which I prefer, being a longer price chaser anyway. I've had a couple of quid each way on Bibiena. That's probably daft. I wouldn't say that as a recommendation. That's just me being honest with you. Rabbitfoot couldn't get to. Kathina Kiab, no chance. Island Hopping, just wondered what she was doing here. This one faded O'Brien. I assume making the pace for Bedtime Story, except, as I say it, Bedtime Story does not want a decent pace being set. She'd be lucky to stay with a medium pace in my book, or at least it's an unknown. So maybe the idea is that Island Hopping can set some sort of fake sort of dawdly pace that Bedtime Story can close sit to. But she was third to Minnie Hawk in the Irish Oaks, but that was a sort of pacemaker third, and she hasn't been as good since. So anyway, so summary, maybe Bedtime Story or Survey wins this with their class, but I doubt both on stamina grounds. I'd much rather, and I don't like the favourite Latakia, so I'd much rather play the race with the likes of Consent, Santorini Star, and Shaha each way with those 4 places. Shaha, I think, is for me the standout of the prices. Might not be up to it, but might easily fresh be up to seeing this lot off at a double figure price. Brings us on to the final race of the day, and the boat's about to sail. I'm about to run out of recording time. I'm going to have to be very quick. Prix Dollar. Well, I will be quick because, again, like I said about I think it was the Wildenstein, you've got the first 8 in the betting covered by a pound or two. A spread of £3 on time form ratings, Racing Post ratings, official ratings. You could theoretically throw a blanket over these and difficult to see who's going to win. In practice, I really get the favourite, Bay City Roller, unbeaten 2-year-old, 3 cracking runs this year, flopped at York, good to firm, fair enough, might have been York, might have been good to firm, but so good last time out when almost a really good winner of the Prix Niel, cut down by Qualificar, who was better on the day, got locked in, but the drop back and trip, all good. Must run well. 7 to 2 though. it's a little bit tight. Damasus, I reluctantly skip. Second in the Dante Horror Derby run out with the washing. Got back on track last time. Listed race at Deauville, kicked on clear, final 150 yards, looks good. But the form of that race is not much, and I'm a bit of a skeptic. Also skeptical for First Look. In and out, quite classy on its day. Won its last two. After, beaten Goliath last time, but I'm not sure Goliath on that day and those conditions were best. And basically, I'm a bit of a skeptic. I'm going to go against some, so I'm going to go against First Look. King of Cities, I'm against, not because he can't with this, because he can, but he's had 5 runs this season. He's run 2 excellent runs, including beating Boiling Point, who then won the Cambridgeshire top weight, and against Almeric at the start of the season. But he's had 3 dull efforts as well. You don't know what you're going to get from this guy. And no. Bright Picture, absolutely star, looked like the star 2-year-old, French 2-year-old. Traded blows with Caland again, beat him once, was beaten by once. Then didn't happen in the flopped in the economics of one Guillaume d'Ornano, but was then off for a long time and had a blowout win. Easy win on return. This one is dangerous. So I've got Leech Way on Bright Picture at 8. Uthred, 5 runs, all in 2025. So since not that exposed. Won 3 of his first 4, then had a break. 2 lengths at 4th to Croix du Nord and Daris. Now that looks cracking form, not beaten far by those, but they were having weight penalties, those two, so maybe it's not quite as good as it looks, and still quite intriguing. This guy had more to give, but yeah, reluctantly passed. Rashabar, wow, second in the Jean-Luc Lagardère on this weekend a year ago. It hasn't quite happened for him this season. Well beaten second, at least, in the Guillaume d'Ornano by the Japanese horse who lines up in the Arc. Maybe he'll run well, but he doesn't stand out on any sort of rating, so because he can't really get his head in front this year. I get the 9-1. I can't quite get there. Swagman, great 2-year-old, quite a long price, 12-1. He's that price because he was sent to qualify car in the Niel, but he'd been off 4 months. Now the one only won on his seasonal debut, so why shouldn't he be on good form when he came back? But if the horse had problems, AOB this, so he's so gentle with his horses. I'm surprised me to take this guy, take a step forward. But anyway, open race, Prix Dollar, not one to go wild in at all. Bright Picture each way. I did some basic City Roller when the prices for this first came out at a bigger price, but 7-2. My idea of the most likely winner, but without particularly being value. That's a wrap on day 1 on our weekend. Good luck with it. Hopefully from a hotel room in Paris without tannoy interference. I'll be back with you tomorrow afternoon for the Arc undercard. Good luck, everyone.